Hello, listeners, and welcome back to the third episode of the Full-Time Podcast. I'm your host, Oran Johnson. I'm joined again today by the infamous Ginger Mourinho TV. Would you like to say hello?
Infamous? What do you mean by infamous? Fuck you, man.
I don't know, you tend to have a bit of a temper on these podcasts, Oran. I'm just going to say.
Temper? You bring up topics like Red Bull and Tottenham Hotspur. What do you expect? You mean you just go like, oh, I love Tottenham, I love Harry Kane, what a guy.
No, you don't have to say you love them. You can just talk about them in a way that doesn't really demean them either.
Demean them? That's all you can do with Tottenham. Tottenham or Tottenham.
Here we go. Here it comes again.
Yeah, but like they beat Watford, who were like completely shite the other day, 4-1, and you could hear them singing "Chelsea Red Boys, we're coming for you," and it was just like, you think we're gonna die like Watford did? Watford were absolute muck, but like Chelsea, Conte has us defending really well. As in, apart from that Stoke game recently, we beat Bournemouth 3-0, we beat Palace 1-0. So like, we kept two, and beat Sunderland 1-0 as well. So like, in that space of time, we've kept a lot of clean sheets apart from that Stoke game.
Yeah, and to be fair as well, in that Stoke game, apart from those 2 goals, Chelsea were fairly dominant in that game in general. So it's still showing that they like any team though that does go like 2-1 down. I think Chelsea last season probably would have taken it at that, maybe scraped a draw, but someone came back and got 3 goals. So it's showing that they're a good team. Like, I
know, but just like Tottenham fans, like I keep saying this nearly every week, but they're such arrogance. And every time they do something good, they're beating like no disrespect to Watford, but just say Tottenham are far better than Watford, and Tottenham were just like, oh yeah, but the greatest thing since sliced bread, bruv. We're gonna batter the Chelsea FC or whatever, 15 games in a row, no fucking way, or 14 or whatever. But just Tottenham will be a tough opposition, but I don't think will lose. It's in like, so I always go in confident against Tottenham because Tottenham always managed to bottle it somehow, except for that one year when they beat us 5-3, but we went on to win the league, so it kind of ended up pie on their face.
Yeah, but you say that Tottenham fans are fairly arrogant. You could take that from the perspective of any other football fans say Chelsea fans are arrogant. It's just the minority seems to get a bit more bit more coverage than the actual like fans who don't really care that much about the other.
Well, yeah, my arrogance about Tottenham is just because I hate the club. As in, like, going to play, when you go to play certain places, like, you feel you don't have that same arrogance. Say for example, when we're playing away to the likes of Crystal Palace and the Stoke City, I wouldn't have the same type of arrogance because I know that they have good home form. When you're playing Tottenham, they always find a way to.
Could you maybe put that down to the fact that those 2 clubs aren't as good as Spurs, and Spurs are actually a decent opposition to come up against, so they could actually get a result against you?
No, but that's what I'm saying. As in, like, I never feel that way when I'm against Tottenham. When we played Crystal Palace recently away, I was just like, oh shit, our run could be over here.
At the same time though, why do you actually hate Spurs though? Because it's not because, like, I don't think people always say like, oh, they're kind of London rivals, and it's kind of like a geographical like point of view as to why they're rivals, but there must be something more to it. It can't be just like, oh, they're near enough to you that you just don't like them.
But they're not. But like from my point of view, they're not near enough to me because I'm from Dublin and I support Chelsea. It's just it's like the arrogance that I found, the way the club is, and like they think like I'm gonna be on Arsenal's side here. They think they're better than Arsenal. They're not. There will always be an Arsenal shadow, or forever be an Arsenal shadow, like Spurs. They'll always be like the 4th or 5th best team in London.
But coming back to it again though, like, as I said before, like, minorities tend to get pushed out from football clubs, and like, you can kind of see that as well with Arsenal as well. Arsenal Fan TV is notorious for having their like the likes of Claude and all them on who like you literally argue about the club every week. Like,
but fans are entitled to have their opinion because these likes of, like, if you want to bring up Claude, let's bring up Claude. He every week he's there every week paying his money to go see the team, buying the shirt or whatever, so he deserves to say whatever he likes about the team. It's the same for me, as in I buy my Chelsea shirts every year. I go over to see them every year, so I'm paying good money. Like, I have to pay for flights as well, train fare, so I deserve to say whatever I want about the players.
You say that though, but like at the same time, I'd say let's be perfectly honest, a lot of Chelsea fans, like, some of them wouldn't have the shirt, let's be fair, and you can go back this kind of, improving the stereotype of like plastic fans, which is like.
But still, these people that might not have the shirt probably because they go to games every week, so they don't need to, because they're always there. But for example, I like to have the shirt because I'm not always there, but then those people who are always there are paying more money obviously because I'm tickets, and then they deserve to be showing a good performance.
Yeah. But however you argue though, people like Claude are a minority in football clubs because not everyone goes to a game every week. And I think mainly the reason people dislike clubs is because of the sort of, like, can you call Claude an ultra to a certain extent?
I don't think England has any ultras whatsoever.
But, like, if you were to get close to that sort of thing, like, you know, like Italy is the ultras and everything, they're clubs. But, like,
yeah, no.
But they're not close. They're not close. But in an English sort of term, they would be the closest thing to an ultra. Let's be fair. The people who go to the teams every week and watch them play.
No, as in my version of ultra from, like, I've been to games in Denmark, I've been to games in Sweden. What I've seen as an ultra is it's absolutely fanatical, singing your heart out to, like, the last minute, as in you just do not stop supporting the team no matter what circumstances. Yes, you can have your own views and stuff like that, but it's about the team above the rest. As in, no matter what the result, you're always going to support your team. So if you lose 5-0, you're still going to support your team, like.
Yeah, but I'm not calling Claude an ultra. I'm just saying, like, if you in the English sort of view, and like when you go to a match, he'd be the closest thing to it.
Have you heard of Crystal Palace?
Yeah, I know Crystal Palace, but we're talking about Arsenal in this sense, and that he's like the closest thing to it, like an Arsenal ultra. Like, I'm saying that in very comments because, like, you can kind of get the sense that it's not like that he is an ultra. He's not like he is a diehard supporter, but he's not like, as you described him, he's like singing his heart every week. But, like,
well, how do we know? We don't see him.
Well, you do see him in the matches, and he just usually looks just dishevelled and just doesn't want to be there when they're losing. So you can say whatever you want. Like, Arsenal Fan TV, as it is, they are a minority, but they get a lot more press coverage because, you know, they tend to have their fights and all that. And that's mainly the reason people take that as the stereotype of Arsenal fans saying, like, oh, this is what all Arsenal fans are like. And maybe that's the reason why a lot of people dislike Arsenal, because, you know, those people have opinions thinking that they're better than every other club in the world, which in reality, the majority of people who support Arsenal probably don't have that view at all.
But in reality, Arsenal are one of the top clubs in the world, let's face it. As in, like, I kind of got a brutal shock reality when I went to see Arsenal Bournemouth in December and went like, fuck, they're a big club. Because when you go to Stamford Bridge, there's maybe like 4, 5, 6 stalls. When I went to the Emirates, there was about 10, 15 stalls. I'm like, fuck, they're a big club. And yeah, kind of realised, like, when you go to the Emirates, right, you're there, you're sitting in the most, there is an atmosphere there that Arsenal need to harness. So I was watching a video on Arsenal Fan TV recently where, like, DT and the main man who runs the channel were discussing this, but, like, it's so true, like, the whole Arsenal spectrum, right, all of these fans are spread across the areas, and, like, I was up at the very top, and there was, like, certain sections of people trying to get the crowd going, or there's people going, like, sit down, you fat piece of shit, bruv, you know? So, like, I think, like, what they were discussing on that video I was watching is you need to get the core section of fans to sit in one area and sing. Yeah. And I think that's what they need to do at all Premier League clubs, because the atmosphere is slowly dying in Premier League clubs, even for myself. Like, that's the only way you get a bit of atmosphere if you sit in the away end of Premier League games, and it's just, that's not always possible. And I think, like, since I've grown up and, you know, discovered football on a bigger spectrum, it's like the Premier League kind of has, you know, died down for me, because I'm more of a person that, you know, cares what's happening on the stands with the fans more than what's happening on the pitch.
Yeah, like, I noticed what you said, like, about saying, like, they have, you know, really good supporters and they're always, like, cheering a lot of them. But the thing is, like, whenever I watch them and they tend to go down a goal, they tend to stop. And maybe that's because of the reason you were saying, is like that they're so spread out and you don't really hear them as much. But in some senses, like, at the same time, you only tend to hear, like, a lot of the supporters when they start winning again, which is kind of maybe not the mentality football clubs should have.
Yeah, but it's the same. It's the same all over England. Football fans are so fickle. You see West Brom there. That's like they're playing Hull. That's the fullest I've ever seen their stadium. And I keep going on to my dad, like, look at this. This is meant to be the greatest league in the world. And West Brom, I know it's West Brom, and they don't get to fill their stadium. Same with Hull City. They fill out their ground for Man City, and then when anyone else comes out, nah, fuck it. And that's the problem with Premier League ground. As in,
wait, so are you saying that they don't really have a lot of...
No, but, like, the Premier League is meant to be the greatest league in the world, and it supposedly fills out week in, week out, but it doesn't. In reality, it doesn't.
Well, to be fair, like, if you're a West Brom fan, I can understand you maybe not going to matches, because, let's be fair, they finish mid-table majority of seasons, or maybe just a bit below it. Now, they're having a bit of a good season this year, but at the same time, they don't play exciting football.
Exactly, fans are so... But so what? Fans are so fickle. So stick by your side. As I remember last year, like, I have a couple of friends over at Chelsea, and they were saying that Tottenham game which Chelsea played last year, right? When we played Spurs at home and, you know, killed their title dreams, on the day there were still tickets on general sale. And now this year it's so hard to get a Chelsea ticket. And I'm like, that's how fickle feckin' fans are like. As in, they don't support the club when they're down in 10th. As in, like, so I'm going to be brutally honest. Last season was one of my favourite seasons ever supporting Chelsea. Because I never knew when the next win was coming from. It was like, when we won a game, it was absolutely euphoric. It was the greatest feeling in the world. Getting a point was the greatest feeling in the world.
Yeah. You saying that, like, it was easy enough to get a ticket last season as compared to this season because we're doing so well now. Do you think that kind of, that's where a lot of that's the people that kind of get a bit emphasised because they're considered plastic fans of the club, and like you can kind of get the sense that that's what a lot of people leech on to because they don't see the positive sides of like one of their rivals, say, and they kind of think like, oh, I hate this club because of these reasons, but they don't point out any of the good reasons. And I'm not like saying that, oh, you should love Tottenham, but like at the same stage you have to admire that some other fans aren't like the ones you've mentioned, and some of them could be like as diehard supporters as you are about Chelsea, but they're like that about Tottenham. Could you imagine that maybe it's just a small select of fans in a Tottenham, like a full Tottenham group that are being picked out?
Probably not, no.
See, that's where you come from. I don't think, I'm not going to be able to change your mind. We're going to move on. We get into, what I want to talk about this, just at the beginning, is this week's, like...
The beginning? I think we were past the beginning.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're 10 minutes in already. That's mad. But anyways, I don't know how we managed to talk about that for that long. But anyways, we get into the week's fixture. I want to talk to you about some of the results that came this weekend, which coming back to Tottenham again.
Oh, Jason, no, I can't do this.
And maybe some of those fans that you didn't like so much maybe invoiced this weekend as they won 4-1 against Watford, as you mentioned. I didn't actually see the game. Did you see it?
I saw some of it, like, isn't Tottenham took apart Watford like they were, you know, Shamrock Rovers or whatever.
Yeah.
Easy as you like. Tottenham were all over Watford. But as I said, like, the Spurs fans were singing from there on, Chelsea Red Boys were coming for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like, did they not realise that we're not Watford? No disrespect to Watford, but like Antonio Conte has gotten us to, you know, play real compact football, and we're just not conceding except for the last game against Stoke, we conceded 2. Yeah. So I think Spurs, like I said, Spurs will be a tough opposition. Don't get me wrong, like the likes of Harry Kane and Dele Alli are overhyped, but they're good players. But I think Chelsea will still sneak the win. Yeah,
and the thing about Watford is as well, I don't think they really expected to win it. I think the best they could have gotten was a draw out of that game, but obviously it didn't go their way. I think yes, they conceded the 4 goals very sort of like close together, so that kind of maybe took them down a bit. Yeah. Going on to the other side of London, we have Arsenal play Crystal Palace. I think we need to highlight...
Oh my God, Giroud's goal was absolutely brilliant. It's the best goal I've ever seen. It's the best goal of the decade. It's the best goal of the century. It's the best goal you'll see in a lifetime. Apart from West Milan's goal at Stade de France, of course.
Before we actually get into like how good his goal is, I see people on social media comparing it to Mkhitaryan's one, and they're like saying like which one's better. And like it's like in my opinion, it's such an obvious decision. It's obviously Giroud's because his was at least onside.
Giroud's was onside. It hit the post. I don't know if anyone saw this, but like, did anyone see the run Giroud made to get that?
Yeah, he started the attack himself. Like
exactly, Giroud like ran 50 or 40 yards to get onto the end of that, and Giroud couldn't believe. You could see him when he celebrated, like, holy fuck, did I just do that?
Yeah.
So that's just the best goal of the year, isn't it? Like, Puskás award goes to Olivier Giroud already.
Yeah, it's kind of mad. And you were like saying, like, the Premier League, you're saying, like, oh, this is one of the best leagues in the world. But if they're producing goals like that, and considering everyone went crazy about Mkhitaryan's goal, it was about maybe 2 yards out, definitely offside, I don't know what the linesman was doing. It's still a good finish, let's be fair. Don't take anything away from it. And people were like, oh, nobody's going to score another goal like that. And then the next week for Olivier Giroud to produce that really shows that, like, anything can happen. I saw people making the arguments as well, like, oh, calm down, Arsenal fans, it's only against Crystal Palace. It's like, no, regardless of what team it's against, even if you had Manuel Neuer in goal, he wouldn't have saved that. That was a top quality finish from Olivier Giroud, and you know there's nothing taken away from that. You can't take away, maybe you can't talk about the opposition and how, like, if they were poor or not. Which, in case Crystal Palace, if you look at them on paper, aren't a bad team.
No, it's just they have I think they've just had a terrible run of form in there. There's a guy in there now who really doesn't deserve to be ever managing football again, and I think that maybe, you know, could really apply into them. I think Sam Allardyce has got this job because he's got his record with them helping clubs survive, but after his dealings with England,
don't forget that 100% record with the English national team as well.
But on a serious note, the dealings, people are like, oh, but he didn't do it though. But he threatened to do it, and that's the thing. As England manager, you have to, you know, you can't be doing stuff like that. And he did, and he got what he deserved. And Sky Sports, I remember, were like, making him out like, oh, Big Sam is crushed about his England heartbreak or whatever. I was like, yeah, because he fucked himself over. Why would you feel sorry for him? It's like, I don't know. Let's say, for example, let's take, I don't know, Ryan Giggs banging his brother's wife for like 9 years or whatever. Oh, I feel sorry for Ryan. His marriage is over. It's just like, yeah, but he banged his wife for 9 years.
I can see where people are coming from though, because like in case of Ryan Giggs, like it was his family that kind of exposed him for it.
Yeah.
But in like this case, it was kind of like media kind of pried it out of Sam Allardyce. Like they kind of
He was doing illegal dealings.
Yeah, but did you see the interview?
No, but still.
Yeah, but in the interview, the guy literally like that can't be used in court. That evidence, I don't believe, can be used in court because they kind of like literally brought him into the thing. Like they literally forced it out of him to say that, which you can't really do if you're using it as evidence in court. And like I don't know what I don't feel sorry for him, and I don't not feel sorry for him. Like I've no real feelings towards him. Getting onto his football form though, he's not started well. Particularly 1 point out of a possible 6. You could argue maybe they weren't. Like, let's be fair. I don't think Chris Pass were going to beat.
I think once he gets signings in though, like in January, he'll come good though.
Yeah, obviously you can't judge a manager until he's made his own signings. Like we had that with Klopp last year. He did very well considering the team he had. He didn't have any of his own signings in, but like he's really trying to show like when he got his players in, he's playing well. That's something I don't get about the Premier League though. But like we talk about Bob Bradley there during the week, and we're not saying like he didn't get time to bring in his own signings, as you said to me.
Yeah. As I said to as I was saying to you during the week, there was a target on Bob Bradley's back from day one from the British media. Because I'm going to give you guys an example, right? Guardiola, if you guys were watching Match of the Day last night, came out with this whole basically he was broken, and he said stuff he acted a certain way in the media that if say Mourinho acted, Conte acted, Wenger acted, they would be probably fined, slated by the media, given a 50-match touchline ban. But Guardiola is the saviour of English football. He's the prince. Hallelujah, Guardiola. I said, don't get me wrong, I love Guardiola's style of football, but come on, like, people need to open their eyes. As in, Guardiola's failing at Manchester City. As in, he thought this would be a walk in the park. I honestly think he thought it'd be a walk in the park. This is a shock to Guardiola's system. Guardiola has never been in a position in his goddamn life where he's not the best manager, not with the best team in the league. As in, he's probably going like, what the hell is going on here? I've never been in 5th before. As in, that's what he has to get used to in the Premier League. Competitive football. Now, going back to Bob Bradley, as I was saying, British media, scum and all that. But he was, I remember in one of his last press conferences, he was being attacked for using Americanized words. Like, come on. Jesus, man. As in, like, he was criticised for using words like road game, which is an away game, but that's a term for an away game in like America, and he was getting slated for us. I'm like, get over yourselves. As in Swansea are gone, I think, to be honest. Like, as in they've had 3 managers this season, if you want to include Curtis, who's their caretaker manager at the moment, and they're gonna have a 4th one. That team is fucked. I'm sorry, but like it is. Cliffy Sigurdsson's gonna jump ship. Fernando Loriente will jump ship. They'll be in the championship for a while.
Just going back to the point, taking out all the media side of it, that Bob Bradley was kind of attacked by them. Taking out all that, you can kind of like, I'm not defending Swansea in any way. I thought Bob Bradley should have stayed until at least after January, because he could at least try and entice some players to come to Swansea and help him out. But the way it was going, like, I think in Swansea's point of view, I think their view was like, we're bringing in this manager, we expect him to get results, like no matter what team he has, because the team before, you can argue it wasn't great, and the manager before wasn't doing great with the team, but now he's coming. Bob Bradley's come into the team, and like he's conceded a crap ton of goals. Let's be fair, and like
yeah, but if you're going in, okay, your team's doing shit, right? You sack the manager, right? Then you bring in a different manager with the same crap pile of shit, as in like. It's basically the saying same shit different day exactly applies to that.
No, but that's the reason for them bringing in the manager. They want to get the players, morale lifted. That's what the manager's meant to do, in a sense. He's meant to get the players, like, he's meant to make them want to win. And I don't think Bob Bradley was really doing that. I think there was, do you know...
Yeah, but I don't think the players took him seriously because he was from America. America don't have this soccer culture, right? Yeah. But if you look at the MLS, it's growing massively. Over the past, say, 10, 20 years it's been around, the MLS has grown huge. Look at Seattle Sounders like getting 40 or 50,000 each week. Like, my God, I think 40 or 50,000. That's not even like you would never get that at a League of Ireland game because none of the League of Ireland Villa, obviously. But even if you combine the total attendance of League of Ireland matches all together, that's counting Premier Division and First Division, you wouldn't get near what some MLS stadiums hold.
Yeah. Anyways, Bob Bradley. Who was that? Wait, quickly before, who was the manager of Swansea before Bob Bradley?
Francesco Guidolin.
Didn't he? He played decent enough football, and they kind of sacked him strangely enough. It was kind of like he wasn't getting good results, but he was still playing sort of like a nice style of play, which is something I don't get. Is like, I'd like to see my team playing good football, and maybe if they lose the odd game, which obviously they lost a good few more than that odd game, but like you could show he was going places. That sacking I didn't get when they brought Bob Bradley. I think the media were kind of feeling like, why did they sack this man in the first place? So there was kind of a negative view towards Bradley coming in, which kind of had an impact on him, which was kind of, it was bad time. As he said, it was wrong time, wrong place, you know. So maybe that's just the way it happens, and maybe we'll see him in the Premier League in a couple more years managing a different club. Moving on to the next game is Middlesbrough versus Leicester City, which ended 0-0. Did you see that one?
It was poor. That's all I gotta say for it. There's a couple of chances. Adama Traore actually had another decent game. See, he played against Man United, had a really good game, but that was really the only spark of the whole game.
Yeah, so I think we can just leave it at that for that match. Next game was Everton versus Southampton, which ended 3-0 to the Toffees.
It wasn't as bad as you look. Southampton they just went like, fuck it, you know. Oh, we're tired of this shit. Let's get beaten.
Yeah, because
get out of there.
Conceded the first goal, Enner Valencia scored that, and then after that, Leighton Baines scored a penalty.
But they were shocking overall Southampton. There just didn't seem to be any urgency about them. There didn't seem to be any oomph. And Everton didn't really feel like, I didn't really think much of Everton either. It's just that Southampton let them tear them apart. Lukaku's goal was pretty good though, I have to admit.
And I want to touch briefly on Southampton. You know Simone Buffal?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been playing. Buffal. He's been playing quite well for Southampton. Well, I don't think pronunciations really matter too much, as long as people know who the player is. But looking at him, he's been decent. He was decent. He got a goal in his debut. I think he scored another long-range effort. I think it was in the League Cup, was it? It was against. I think it was in the League Cup. Anyways, he scored a really nice goal, and they won 1-0. He's still being benched. Do you think he has an argument to actually get into that first team?
I think he should be starting the games. Like, as in Shane Long, I think he should be getting a bit more of a game. But I'm just a bit slightly biased because I love Shane Long because I'm Irish. But I do think he could help out a bit. And Soufiane Buffon as well. I think they're both good players. And Southampton just needs something at the moment. I think the last 3 games they've conceded 9 goals. They scored 2. They scored 2. And they took the lead in 2 of those games.
Yeah. Anyways, what's it called? Buffal, yeah, as we said, probably should get into the first team now after that. And had a class season with Lille the year before.
Yeah.
So, I think... Do you think that's another case of maybe people being underrated because they came from League One?
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
I think the only people who really tend to get recognition in League One is if you play for PSG, which is kind of a poor way of looking at it. And even I'm kind of guilty of that as well, because I see Balotelli scoring goals there. I'm just like, it's in League One. I kind of consider that. And he's still scoring goals, and they are quality goals as well when you see some of the goals he's been
scoring. Only beat what's in front of you, though.
Yeah.
As in, I was told this, but also Balotelli maybe has found his level that he's good at.
Yeah.
And people just need to
a lot of people are using that same sort of view as well when they saw John Joe Shelby in the Championship playing for Newcastle. Maybe that is his level. I still think he's capable of a lot more. He's only 25 now, I think, around that age. Maybe he could show a bit more, and I think the same with Balotelli. Balotelli can still become a top quality player if he really applies himself this year, and maybe he could have one more big move. If I was him, though, I'd stay at Nice for maybe another season or 2, because we saw Ben Arfa, he was at Nice for the season, moved to PSG, and just hasn't been working out from. They brought in, as we said earlier, Julian Draxler, who's probably going to take his spot in the team now. So I don't know, maybe it's looking a bit doom and gloom for players from Nice. So maybe there's something about Nice that just makes players have the best in them, and maybe they should stay there for a couple more seasons. Speaking, I want to touch on that now. Since Draxler's moved to PSG, do you think a possible idea of Ben Arfa maybe going back to Nice is possible?
There's been, I don't know, this is a dream club. He's a PSG fan, he's a lad. There has been rumours of him going to Fenerbahce on loan, but there's not been no rumours about him going to Nice.
Yeah, I think it'd be nice to see him go back, but obviously, PSG is a much bigger club, let's be fair. If Nice win the league this year, though, which they could do if they keep their form. Well, I think they dropped points, didn't they? Draw
in their last game before the Bordeaux, did you know?
Yeah, it was just kind of annoying. So I think Monaco are just behind them. So it'll either be Monaco or Nice, who are going to be challenging PSG, and PSG might even be struggling, because I looking at the statistic there, half PSG's goals were scored by Edison Cavani. Then their second highest goal scorer is Lucas with 5, and he's actually looking at leaving PSG. I can't remember which club it was he was linked with, but it was some club, I think, in Spain. Can't remember, maybe it was Sevilla or something he was linked with. But there was also the likes of Di Maria's only scored 1 goal this season for PSG. Don't quote me, I think that's only in the league, but I could be wrong. And that's, so there's links of him moving away from PSG as well. Do you think he'll leave?
No, I think Di Maria will stick around, because I think when he was going to Manchester United, I think he always had Paris at his heart, and he's at Paris. So unless something mad comes along from him, like Chinese money, or so maybe go back to Spain, I don't think he will.
Alright. Okay, moving on to the next game, which was Manchester City versus Burnley, which ended 2-1.
Beautiful. Guardiola's finally cracked, as I said earlier on. He's finally been found out, as in, like, he's absolute. I don't know if you saw it, like I said. I don't know if you've seen his post-match press conference yesterday, but he cracked. He's absolutely cracked.
We're looking at that now. They're now in 5th, and Manchester United are in 6th. Look, good statistically there now. This is the first time in 91 seasons that neither Manchester United or Man City have been in the top 4, which is amazing to think. Like
91 seasons. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was in 01-02.
No, 91 season. No, one of them. Either one of them was in the top 4.
Okay.
Yeah. So 91 season. That's mad considering it's going back all that.
I'm pretty sure. Like I said, the 01-02 season was the last time that a Manchester club wasn't in the top 4.
This is by Christmas.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because I saw something. Maybe I'm wrong, but I saw something like that the other day, and Man United were like in 5th at the time. City were not in the division at the time either. But I'm pretty sure it was 01-02. Yeah.
Anyways, maybe the listeners can leave it down in the comments and we'll check it out, either or. Moving on then to the next game, we had West Brom, as we were talking about earlier, versus Hull City, which ended 3-1 to West Brom.
Hull looked pretty good in the first stages of the game, but then West Brom completely turned around. Antonio Pulis changed things up, and West Brom were looking fabulous this season. I think they were in 7th, and I think they could do massive things this year. West Brom fans were egging for Pulis to go out. Their football was shy, and now they're scoring goals for fun these days. They've got 5 goals in the last 2 games.
Do you think Tony Pulis is a bit of an underrated manager when it comes to...
I do, yeah. Definitely, 100%.
A lot of people hate him. I don't know why. I think there was a thing, actually, he was... when he was at Crystal Palace, I think he was in debt of 4.5 million because he borrowed it off the club. I think it's the chairman. He asked, could he get his bonus early so he could buy land for his daughter, which he didn't end up using to buy land, obviously, because Tony Pulis probably spent it on caps or something like that. But he didn't end up using it on that, and he spent it on something else. He has since repaid it, but I can't see that why people would hate him, because a lot of people have been involved in fraud like that, like the Messi, and people still love him. So I don't know what it is about Tony Pulis. I think maybe it's the style of football he plays. Which, to be fair to him, Mourinho played a very similar style of football. He's at Chelsea sometimes.
The style of football that Pulis plays keeps the team in the Premier League, and that's his stat. That's Pulis' stat. That's what Pulis does. He keeps teams in the Premier League, and that's what he's done all his career. I haven't seen Pulis get relegated before. Yeah,
and it's starting to pay off now, because they're not only just staying in the Premier League, they are nearly challenging for a European spot, which would be amazing to see West Brom in Europe, because God knows last time they were ever in Europe. But that's amazing to see that they're doing so well now, and looking at Hull City as well, do you think it's inevitable that they'll drop down now?
Yeah, Hull are shy.
Yeah, I think
Hull are always the space to the Premier League. I've never liked them. As in, like I said earlier on, they never feel their ground, and just I kind of the same feeling as with Spurs. You never decide to become a Hull City fan or a Spurs fan. Kind of just forced upon you, and you're left to deal with it.
The thing I never got is when they actually got promoted to the Premier League, that they sold the likes of Mohamed Diane to Newcastle when they didn't even have enough players for the league, and now it's shown that they're struggling, and it's kind of a stupid idea in the end. You brushed on, you don't really like Hull in the Premier League. Is there any? Let's touch on that actually now, because I want to talk about the Championship for a little bit. Teams that you would like to see back in the Premier League from the Championship.
How many can I pick?
We'll just go with one for the moment.
Who would I like? Leeds.
Leeds, funnily enough, won 3-0 yesterday. They're up to 4th now.
Great away day.
Yeah. So, do you think they're probably in contention for getting 2nd place?
I think Brighton will win the Championship.
Brighton are doing very well.
I know that's kind of very cliche to say now they're top of the league, but yeah, I think Brighton win the Championship. I think Newcastle Newcastle are the big team, and everyone will be out to get Newcastle. Brighton are kind of floating under the radar a bit, and I think they'll win the championship.
Do you think Newcastle a little bit are kind of taking a bit like a stroll in the park, just kind of chilling out while they're playing in the championship, sort of like?
Not really, no, as you can see.
So it is that the league is a bit more underrated than you'd expect.
It is, yes. The league is very underrated.
Everyone were like tipping Aston Villa and Newcastle to get 100 points. I
certainly wasn't tipping Aston Villa to go.
Well, what was it you said in the Villa View when Di Matteo got in? You thought he'd do quite well, was it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of, I think, like, I'm not saying you were tipping them to do great things or whatever. They got in that 50 million. They got Di Matteo in. People were definitely thinking, yeah, they'll definitely challenge for a top spot here. Newcastle have obviously lived up to expectations, maybe a little bit less. They've kind of dropped off a little bit. They did really well at the beginning of the season. Everyone's tipping them to get over 100 points. But Aston Villa, like, what's going on there? We talked about them last week, but let's talk about them less of a hateful way.
Cardiff at the weekend. But like, they have been up in form, hasn't they? Got a 1-1 draw with Leeds recently, and they have turned the tables ever so slightly since Steve Bruce took over, and it is looking a lot more positive. I still think they'll be in the championship for maybe a year or two, but they will be back in the Premier League. It's Aston Villa.
Yeah, another club I want to talk about that seems to be going up and down all the time is QPR.
No, I love when they're in the championship. Hate them as well. They're basically the Tottenham of West London. They think they're a bigger club than they are.
I don't get it though. They get so much money when they get into the Premier League, and then they just spend it on absolute rubbish. Like, they see all this money. Like, if I got, say, 100 million, I would invest it into players that are, maybe around the 25, 24 region. They just buy players who are like 35 and are nearly retiring. It's just a quick way out. Like, they bought the likes of Rio Ferdinand, who you could argue at the time they signed him was a good player, for the dressing room. It's like more for the players. He was just awful. There was just nothing there. It was like a shadow of what he once was.
Then again, he barely played because his wife was sick.
Exactly at the same time though, like I don't get the mentality. I could see that he's going to become the dresser, but if you're getting 50 million, spend it on players who are good for the future, players you can use now that are going to, keep you in the Premier League, because they don't have the comfortable sort of like position where they can just, I would sign this guy just to, help us in the dressing room. They need players that'll keep them in there. Like Middlesbrough are a great example. Like they're doing okay. They're just about surviving at the moment. All right. They have brought in some good players. Alvaro Negredo, he was a good goal scorer for Man City before he got shipped off to Spain. They have got in the likes of Gaston Ramirez. They got him permanently from Southampton. So they've got some class. Victor Valdez as well. They've got some really good proven players there that will help them stay up, and that's what I think they'll stay up anyways. Whether that comes in at the end of the season, we'll have to wait and see. But that's my mentality. Is I don't get how clubs just like get this mentality that they're better than they actually are. Anyways, another club actually I want to touch on is Fulham. Now, Fulham are just off. I think they lost their last game.
To Brighton 2-1, yeah.
Brighton 2-1, yeah. So now I think they're in 8th place. They're just 2 places off the knockout.
They're finally doing something for once.
Yeah, it's weird with Fulham. They had an awful season. They just about survived, and then they sold their best striker in Ross McCormick, and people were thinking, oh, this is going to go downhill. But now it seems they're doing a lot better. They've got Tom Kearney, he's an unbelievable player. They've got Chris Martin as well. He's looking at, I think he wants to leave Fulham, which is kind of, I don't know, I don't get the same championship players. Chris Martin, he's not a Premier League player, but he's not less than a championship player. So if he's leaving, he's just going to go to a team in the championship, and he's not really making any progress in his career. If I was in that position, I would stay at Fulham and help them get into that playoff spots, and then possibly back into the Premier League. Thing was with Fulham though, they're a bit of up and down. Like they were up 3-1 I think in a game against Wolves, and they came back and just about drew it 4-4. David Button is their goalkeeper?
Yes.
Yeah, the former Brentford player. Yeah, who left the club, and he had a howler in that game. So I don't know, they have a couple of things to sort out. Actually, talking about teams who have howlers in goal, let's move on to their next Premier League fixture, which was Liverpool against Sunderland, which ended 2-2.
Really? Do you think Minier?
No, I'm not talking about Minier. I was just, making, I don't actually think the goalkeepers are bad. I'm just saying a couple of howlers that, obviously the minority are always singled out, as I said before, with Karius, So we're not talking about, he's not an awful keeper, but it was just a quick way to get into this. But anyways, the game obviously finished 2-2 to both, 2 goals, 2 penalties as well. So what did you think of it?
Oh, I thought that was probably the best game of the day. As in really adventurous from both sides. Sunderland looked like they were really up for it, and it gives me hope that they could survive. As in, I'd love to see Sunderland back stay in the Premier League, because I think they're good for the Premier League. They always bring a good away fans, and they always make good noise.
Yeah, an awful game if you're a Liverpool fan to watch, obviously, because you've dropped points and now you're 5 points behind Chelsea. Which, if Chelsea win the next game, I think it's looking like they'd kind of be running away with it now at this stage.
8 points run away with it? I don't think so.
8 points. They will be the super favourites, though, as I said
yeah,
before.
But still, I still don't think 8 points is, that a lot.
I think it'll all come down to when we play Arsenal and Liverpool again. I think that'll be the deciding factor.
We play Liverpool on the 31st, and then Arsenal that weekend on the 4th.
Yeah, so they're quite close together. So if we can get by both of them, then you're looking at basically, if we play our cards right, plain sailing into the Premier League title. So that's how that game ended. I think that's all the games. No, Manchester United versus West Ham United, which ended 2-0. Goals coming from Mata and Ibrahimovic. Yeah.
So yeah, Mata's goal was pretty good. Rashford, or was it Rashford or Martial? I can't remember which one. But lovely about ball in from the left hand side. Mata did what he always does, kind of hang back and just wait for the ball to lovely hit his feet and float into the back of the net. Soufan Faguli was sent off for all the wrong reasons with Phil Jones and got booed for the rest of the game. And Ibrahimovic's goal was offside, but 2-0 nonetheless. United looked like they're climbing their way back.
Yeah, you mentioned Guardiola before starting to crack. I think Mourinho's been kind of proven to be a bit of a hypocrite now after him claiming that all these football Einsteins claim they know everything, and his team now is basically what all the football Einsteins have been telling him. Get in Carrick, get in Herrera, play Pogba further up the pitch, get Ibrahimovic. I think the only thing he can really gloat about is the fact that people said Ibrahimovic was kind of going to fail because of how old he is, and he's been playing exceptionally well for Manchester United at the moment. They were like, Einstein also as well, bring back in Mkhitaryan, and it's kind of coming back to bite him now. But it's good. He obviously has seen the error of his ways, even though he won't admit that. He has been doing very well with the squad now. So that's a definite team they won't challenge for the title. They'll get top 4. I think it might actually be a tight enough one between Man City and Man United for top 4 this season. I think.
So who's going to miss out then in top 4?
We
have Chelsea
Spurs
there, we
are
have
going to
Liverpool
miss
in
out.
there, we have Arsenal there, we have Man City and Spurs and Chelsea.
I don't think Spurs will get top 4.
Good.
I think it's something like Spurs. I don't think they have the mentality to go after it.
You mean they bottle it all the time?
It's not that they bottle it. It's just that they.
It's not that they bottle it. It's not that they bottle it.
Well, there's still a lot of time to go. I don't feel that they'd bottle the games that they play in a sense. I just think the other teams will perform a lot better than them and be worthy of the top 4 position. I think they'll get 5th or 6th, probably 6th if we're looking at either one of the Manchester clubs not getting top 4. I think come the end of the season, I think Chelsea will probably end up on top. Liverpool or Arsenal in second. Possibly, in my opinion, I think Arsenal will be second and Liverpool will be third. And then either one of the Manchester clubs, in my opinion, Man United in 4th. So we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. What do you actually think now? Thinking your top 4 at the moment now for the Premier League?
Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Man United. I don't think
the exact same as mine.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't have said that earlier on. Mourinho's gotten them play well. You can see Guardiola after the eyes start to crack a bit. I'm just like, I've never seen Pep like this. Like I said earlier on, Pep's never been in this position of not being top of the table all the time. So. Yeah. I think this is the new scenario for Pep, and you just have to get used to it. Yeah,
there is a lot of things. Well, I think you can't really make any more excuses for Guardiola either. He spent so much money in the summer. The likes of Leroy Sané being bought. I think it was 55 million they paid on him. It's just an obscene amount of money to play. He's a good player, but he is not worth 55 million in my opinion. 50 million for John Stones. That's 105 million. And you're looking at people giving out about how Pogba was bought for 89 million. Those two players are nowhere near the quality of Pogba in my opinion, and they're being bought for far more of their value. And Pogba's actually starting to come good now. If you looked at his stats in the last game, he has been playing exceptionally well. He's definitely adapted a bit more now since Mourinho's been playing him in a better position. And it's inevitable that Man City will fall behind Man United, considering the form. I think they're 9 games unbeaten at the moment now, which is an incredible bit of play to be going at. There's only one more game to be on this week. It is Tottenham Hotspur against Chelsea. I want to hear your predictions of who could possibly come away with either 3 points or maybe it could be a draw.
Harry Kane to score in the first half and Chelsea to come out with 3-1 winners.
It seems to be sort of a recurring theme that I think Chelsea, in a sense, don't really get started fully until the second half. They do start very well in the first half, but when they come in the second half, it must be something Conte is obviously feeding them the almighty magical oranges, and they're just coming out and they're playing. I don't know, they're probably doping. Let's be fair. No, that's a joke. Before I get taken down for giving out about this is alleged. This is a joke. Let's get through it. Okay. That is all the week's fixtures actually, and I want to talk to you now. Actually, 'cause we're talking about 2017 and 2017. we look back in the last episode and stuff that happened in 2016, I want to talk about the stuff that's happening in 2017 and your predictions for who will probably finish top of these leagues that I'm going to name to you now. Okay. The Electricity League, probably not one of the top 5 leagues in the world, but it is definitely one of our favourite leagues.
It's our domestic league, so we have to, give us your predictions for it.
Yeah, who do you think will come out on top?
Shamrock Rovers.
I knew you were going to say that. I was waiting for that. It's inevitable. The signings they've been making. It is inevitable. The signings they've been making is kind of unbelievable. I'm actually going to go to a different club. I actually think...
How? As in Rovers have just been... I don't know where they're getting this money from. Same with Bray, as in Rovers have been banging out all their signings this summer. They signed Roberto Lopez from Bose. They got Ronan Finn to join back from Dundalk. And I think they look the best side out there, and they look dead serious. And I'm kind of worried.
That's the thing about the Electricity League, though. Like, next year, I guarantee you a good few of those players will move on to other clubs. It's just one of those leagues that, like, obviously Dundalk were kind of the thing that sort of started to dominate. They had 3 league wins in a row, which is, something that nobody's really done for quite a while.
Dundalk will also concentrate on Europe and finish 3rd while Cork grab 2nd.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
I think Cork will actually top the league this year. I just don't know. You can say all you want about the money. Those players, I think, still will need a bit of time to gel into that side. And then Cork City, they always have the determination to go and win games. They're one of the most passionate sides in the Electricity League, in my opinion. You always see them going at it, even if they're down. Like, even when they scored that goal in the FAF World Cup final, they went absolutely mental. They have one of the best, if not the best, set of fans in the Electricity League.
Yeah, freaking fans, actually. But, with 3 teams being relegated this year in the league because of the whole shake-up to the 10-team league for the 2018 season, who's gonna go down? Who's gonna go down?
Well, actually, I can't even remember who came up. Limerick and who was the other team that came up?
Limerick and
Drogheda. Yeah, Drogheda United.
It's tough. It really is tough.
At the moment, it's kind of hard to tell because a lot of the teams that you really expect to get relegated have been bringing in some good signings now. I don't think Sligo will go down. I think maybe Bowes.
Oh, I know. Oh my God.
The way they've lost
Keith Buckley
and Roberto Lopez, who are 2 of their main players. Keith Buckley obviously going to Bray and Roberto Lopez obviously going to Shams. I think they're probably one of the favourites to go down this year. Maybe Drogheda, I just don't know. They're kind of a bit inconsistent, and you can never really tell with them. In terms of other clubs, everyone else, it's kind of a fair playing field. I think it's just the last spot's kind of open.
Hurts.
I still don't get the idea of the 10 team system. It's a bit stupid, but whatever floats your boat, John Delaney, am I right? Anyways, getting into the next league, I want to talk about League as we like to call it.
Unai Emery will be sacked at the end of the season.
What do you think? Yeah.
He'll finish. They won't win the league. I don't think they'll be the PSG that we all know. We've all known for the past 3 or 4 seasons. Nice or Monaco will just pip them to the title by maybe 2 or 3 points. They'll get knocked out of the Champions League by Barca. Maybe win the French Cup and the French League Cup. But yeah, Unai Emery will be getting the sack at the end of the season.
Yeah, it looks kind of like not inevitable, but most likely. Considering we used to joke about like, PSG is such an easy club to run or whatever, you're the manager. But fair play to Laurent Blanc, like he's won them the league. You can say them that. But if he's not doing it, then like it's kind of like a step down. I think if you don't win the league with PSG, I think it's an automatic sacking. In my opinion, I just don't feel like unless you won the Champions League. But like, let's be fair, they're not going to. Who do you think will win it?
Monaco.
Yeah, I think it's probably the safest.
You were saying Nice earlier on?
No, I am still sticking with Nice. I'm just saying Monaco's probably the safest option to go with because they are, a bit more of a developed club and they have more, strength and depth as well. Their team is very good and the financial backing is very good for them as well. I still think Nice will top the league. I think they've got that.
How about we have a bet on it then?
Oh no, I don't want to put a bet on it because well, it depends how much you're saying. $5. I'm broke at the moment, so we'll have to come back to it later.
Oh, did you hear that?
I will record it though for the next episode, and I will give you my answer next time we record.
Your host is backing down.
I'm not backing down. I'm just considering it. I still think Nice will win the league just based on the fact that I think they have the drive and determination to do it now. They've got a lot of class players. Dante is an unreal centre back. I love Dante. Probably was left out of the limelight a good bit because like when he was at Bayern, you had the likes of Boateng and all them, and then there was at Wolfsburg. I think Naldo kind of stole the line off him. He was a class centre back at Wolfsburg. But looking at him now, he's a very good centre back. They've obviously got a class midfield. Cosiello is an unbelievable creative midfielder, and the same with Seri. He's a box midfielder, sort of like a Kante for that team as well. I'm not comparing them to Leicester in any sense, but they are kind of doing what Leicester did last season. They're top.
And he's finished fourth last year. Leicester finished fourth the year before this, which was like 17th.
Well, it kind of makes a bit more sense than that they would be challenging for the league then, so it makes it a bit more likely that they would win it as well. Balotelli obviously finding scoring form as well, so yeah, it's good to see that they're doing well. And I hope and I believe that they will top the group. They will top their league at the end of the season. Moving on to Germany in the Bundesliga, who do you think will win it? It's pretty straightforward, isn't it? Yeah, Bayern. Just not even going to argue about it. It's pretty much Bayern.
Dortmund to miss out on Champions League.
Do you honestly think that though? Let's be fair.
Yeah, the way that as people ask why Frankfurt were just avoided relegation last year by the playoffs. Now they're third. Hertha Berlin are having a class season.
Hoffenheim, another team.
Yeah, Hoffenheim having another season. And Dortmund just keep dropping points where they shouldn't. Yeah. And I think that's going to cost them their Champions League place. But I think they could win it.
You think they win the Champions League?
Semi-finals, and then that's where Dortmund will get, and then from there it's anything else.
Who are they actually playing in the next round?
Oh jeez, I can't remember, to be honest. Like Benfica, I think.
Benfica, yeah,
I
because
think
they're the top of their group.
I can't remember.
Oh yeah, because Real Madrid against Napoli, they're against Benfica. I'm pretty sure.
I can't remember, but that's my guess. I think.
Yeah. Anyways, we can come back to it later and check it out. Going on to the Premier League, who do you believe will win the Premier League?
Chelsea, hopefully.
Yeah.
Then I'm going for Chelsea to win it, but it's anyone's guess. We have a massive couple of fixtures coming up. We have Leicester away on the 14th. We have Liverpool on the 31st. We have Arsenal on the 4th. Yeah, so it's.
I don't really like. I said this last week. I still think Leicester are a good side and they'd start getting results, but they don't have the Champions League anymore. They're still not performing. Riyad Mahrez was benched at the weekend because.
No, he played.
No, Ranieri was saying that he wasn't. The game before, sorry.
Oh, the game before the middle of the
game. And Ranieri was saying, like, he just doesn't care anymore. And I kind of sense that. I'd said to you before that, like, remember I told you, I think, last year, I said, I don't really like Mahrez because his attitude isn't great. And, like, I think it's starting to show now because if Mahrez isn't winning stuff, he gets kind of annoyed, which is a lot of the best players tend to do that. Messi, yes, we can kind of argue that because, he left after losing the 3 finals.
Oh, his tantrum, yeah.
Yeah, but now he's back. But Messi, in a sense, I think he would be. I think he'd want to leave Barcelona if they weren't winning titles year in year out. Ronaldo obviously definitely would because it's Ronaldo. And apart from that, I don't think he really has. He's not allowed. Like, he's not a Messi or Ronaldo. He's a very good player, but I don't think he has the right to kind of do that. Like, you don't see Jamie Vardy giving out all the time. He just gets on because he knows, as we mentioned before, he's come from that non-league standard. He knows how hard he needs to work. So Mahrez maybe had it a bit more handed to him in a way, even though he didn't start at a very brilliant level. He started out in League 2 or League. How do you say it in France?
League 2.
League 2, and then he moved to Leicester, and then so I don't know. Maybe he's starting to get a bit full of himself. I hope he starts playing well again, and I hope that his attitude changes. But I'm not very hopeful. In terms of who put in the Premier League, Chelsea for me, I believe. Yeah, I think our main rivals are probably Arsenal. I can't really
go for Liverpool.
You think you're going to go for Liverpool? I can't really see Liverpool. Liverpool they're good. I think people underestimate Liverpool. I'm kind of doing that now myself as well because I just can't picture Liverpool challenging for the title again after what they did last time. I kind of see Liverpool finishing third, as I said. I just don't see them challenging us. I think that bottle at the weekend against Sunderland kind of is the start, in my opinion. Maybe they'll get a good few results later on, but I think they'll get top 4, and Liverpool fans should be happy with that as well. That's a brilliant achievement in their the first proper season with Klopp. So yeah, I think they'll get Champions League. Whether that'll affect them next season with the extra games, I don't know.
Klopp, if that happens, Klopp will surely bring in more players.
Yeah, and I think it'll be easier enough to entice players as well with Champions League football to come to the club. Going on to La Liga, who do you think will win the La Liga?
There's really Real Madrid are 6 points ahead of Barcelona at the moment. Real Madrid are flying, are unbeaten in a mad number of games. So they beat Sevilla tomorrow, which your host is going to. I will be out in Sevilla tomorrow, and that is actually something to bring up. Actually, there won't be a podcast this weekend coming. That's why this one's a bit late because we want to keep it as early as possible, so we can have less time between the new podcasts. And plus, it's actually the first one this year as well, so that's good. But at the same time, I won't be here next week. And actually, quick plug, if you want to check out any pictures that I post of this amazing match that I will be going to, follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Those links will be on the screen right now or in the description of the video. So moving back to La Liga, you think Real Madrid will win? Yeah,
close second, who do you think?
Barca.
Right. You think Sevilla will come in top 3?
Sevilla and Villarreal are doing well. I don't know about Atletico. I think Atletico will probably just sneak up because it's Diego Simeone and all. But maybe they're focusing on the Champions League this year. Maybe Simeone wants to go out with a bang because they did finish top of their group.
The same thing with Atletico Madrid. They have been fairly inconsistent this season.
In the Champions League, they've been fine.
In the Champions League, yeah, but you could argue that for Leicester as well. And, Leicester aren't doing great now. But obviously they're not the same as Leicester. They've got higher quality players, so they're expected to be doing a bit better. They are underachieving in the Liga. To be perfectly honest, the last time I saw them, when I went out to see them play Alaves, they bottled it. They threw away 3 points after getting a penalty, which they didn't really dominate that game. Alaves were all over them for the majority of it, and I think it's kind of like, I don't know. I think some other players have the attitude that they go into a game they'll easily win it. I think maybe that's I'm not too sure. I don't know how I'd put it, but yeah, I think maybe it's the same sort of situation as Maris. If they're not winning stuff, I don't think they're really too happy. Players that I feel play well for that team, regardless, have to be the back line in general, even though they do concede goals.
I love Simeone with a passion. What a man.
He is a very, animated manager, to say the least. He's an amazing player. He's always on the sidelines kind of shouting. He is sort of the Jurgen Klopp / Antonio Conte of La Liga. And I think it helps that he's managing the club that he once played for, because that shows his more passion for that team. We'll move away from La Liga now, going over to our final league, the Serie A, or the Calcio A.
Oh, my heart says Napoli, but my head says Juve.
I was going for a similar sort of thing. My head says Juve, and I want Roma to win it, because I feel, but they kind of bottled it. They could have narrowed down actually a couple of weeks ago. They could have narrowed down their sort of like distance between them to a point, but they ended up bottling it. So I don't know. It's kind of Juve showing they brought in Higuain, and obviously they got all the money, and you can argue they aren't doing as well as they did before with like Pogba and all that, and after selling, but they brought in a good striker, a top quality striker, and he's scoring goals. So I think it's kind of inevitable that they will win the league. With it being January now, the January transfer window is open, which I actually completely forgot about until I checked yesterday. That was January 3rd. I was like, oh crap, players can move to teams now. But I want to touch on a couple of players. I was talking about Julian Draxler there earlier. I want to look at maybe not players that are moving to clubs at the moment, but players that could be used by the club. A team that like needs a position. So who do you want to talk about? Is there anyone?
Liverpool. I think they need a goalkeeper and a centre back. But in January, it's so hard to get a goalkeeper and a centre back unless you're willing to dive into your deep pockets and put out 60 million from the back of your couch.
Yeah, it is something that January's never a good time to buy players, because teams have the mentality that like, oh, my player's playing really well, I don't want to sell him, and if he's not playing well, oh, he'll get better, we'll keep him now, and maybe if he doesn't play well, we'll sell him on the summer. So January's in a massively exciting time. Maybe one big transfer goes through. I remember Juan Cuadrado going to Chelsea was one of the big transfers in January when we got him. Torres as well, but
both flops.
At the same, I don't really consider.
Still love Torres though. What a man.
Cuadrado though, I can't really consider a flop because he didn't play that many games. And like he played decent enough when he played for us. Like he wasn't amazing, but he was average. And I think if he got a bit more time to gel in, I think it was hard for him when he got in. Willian was playing so well that it was hard to push him out of the team. And I thought maybe with Conte coming in, he might use him a bit more, but Conte obviously just didn't really want him. He's obviously gone out in a 3-year loan deal, which I don't really get. It's a bit stupid.
Neither do I. We should just, sold the guy.
Yeah, get more money from him now rather than, like, when he comes back in 3 years, think about it, he's going to be, like, 31. He's going to be, maybe he's not, but I feel he might be useless to Chelsea at that stage. Because, you're talking about you need time to adapt to the Premier League, and he just doesn't really have the time at the age of 31. But, yeah, we were talking about Liverpool, talking about their need for a centre-back. A lot of Liverpool fans are making the accusation that we're scoring a load of goals, so we don't need to worry about conceding them. But that's the mentality you had the year you finished second, and that kind of came back to bite you. So I feel that Liverpool fans, without Matip, they seem to have a bit of a, there seems to be just a really dodgy back line. I know their team on paper, the same as Everton, looks class in the back line. They've got the likes of Matip, Dejan Lovren, obviously well-experienced Premier League centre-back. Maybe he has his rough times every now and then. They've got decent full-backs. Klein is probably one of the best right-backs in the Premier League. And Milner is one of the most intelligent players in the Premier League, in my opinion. Karius and Mignolet is solid enough. He's had more time to adapt. Maybe after, I think we can't really judge Karius right now. As I said before, De Gea, they left him a year, and now look at him. Although we have seen goalkeepers come to teams and completely flop, so it could go either way for Karius at the moment. Obviously me supporting Chelsea, I hope Karius is an awful player in the future, but obviously I don't know. He could probably be a very decent goalkeeper in the future and maybe reach the standards that Liverpool fans expect of him. At the moment, I don't think it's fair to really say that Liverpool need to buy a goalkeeper. I think Mignolet at the moment is alright, he's decent enough. He'll get them through this next few months, I think. And maybe they might bring in Karius when when Mignolet is a bit off form, which is the thing, because they didn't really have that back last season. I think Bogdan was on the bench, and oh my god, like the only thing he's ever good at is being looking like Ed Sheeran. I don't think he can save a ball for his life. Apart from that, though, that's all Liverpool really need to look at. I think you argued saying they didn't need a striker, but I feel they don't really have an all-out striker. Daniel Sturridge looks like he might be on his way to West Ham or Southampton.
He scored at the weekend.
He scored the weekend, yeah, but like Klopp doesn't really seem to have him in his long-term plans. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but he's been injured though.
He's been injured. He's injured now, isn't he?
No, he scored against West Ham.
Yeah, but he got injured after the game.
Sunderland.
He got injured after, yeah.
Oh my god.
But he has been linked with a move away to West Ham, so like Southampton as well. I could see him going there, to be perfectly honest. As I said, you can say he's getting game time as per se, but he's not getting first team football a lot. Six of his appearances have been off the bench, I think, in a total of 10. He's probably more likely, I think, to go to West Ham. They're in need of a striker, even though he is injured at the moment. I think maybe it's not for that long. I have no idea. I haven't looked into it, so don't.
Defoe's been linked to West Ham as well.
Defoe's been linked. I just don't think he'll leave Sunderland. Can't see him leaving the club in the state that they're in the moment. Obviously playing so well at the moment. Still baffles me how he hasn't even gotten an England call up, or that anyone is even talking about him. Everyone focused on Ibrahimovic, but with Defoe he's scoring a crap ton of goals. Nearly, I think he's the same amount as Ibrahimovic at the moment. But anyways, less of that. But I think Sturridge to West Ham it could be likely, because Simone Zaza has been, I don't know, the Olympic Stadium seems to be like his holiday home. He doesn't really seem to want to play. I think they had Andre Ayew. He got injured very near the beginning of the season, which is kind of okay, fine, that's great. He's out. Diafra Sakho, not great, and then that's about it. Andy Carroll injured all the time. He's back now, he's playing decent enough, but him and Payet played well at the weekend. But I just don't see him really being a long-term option for West Ham. I think they need that real top-quality clinical finisher to play with Payet. Another team I feel could use a position is Juventus. Now, we obviously argued that they're probably going to walk away with the league now, but I still think that they haven't really filled a void for which Pogba left, and Pogba kind of played.
Napoli play Juve in the last game. I'm just saying, for my Napoli prediction.
They do. Would it really matter? Maybe they might be already too far ahead at that stage.
It's a Napoli see him play. Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Someone I want to talk about in Napoli is obviously an unbelievable goal scorer at the moment. I think it's Milik is out at the moment, so Dries Mertens has been playing unbelievable for Napoli. Fun fact, I think I told you this, in the month just gone, Dries Mertens has more goals than any other Serie A club, apart from Napoli, because obviously he plays for Napoli. But his not last game, but the 2 games before that, 2 hat-tricks, so like people are saying he isn't a long-term option, but if he's scoring goals like that, I would keep him up front, don't fix it if it's not broken, like.
Yeah.
Juventus, though, as I was saying, I feel they need another central defensive midfielder. Khedira's obviously aging. I think
there's been linked with Steven Nzonzi now that Astabus has gone off to Guangzhou.
Steven Nzonzi, obviously a very good player. I love Nzonzi. He's not someone you bring in for goals, but he is tall. He'll win the headers. He'll knock it down to more of the creative players if he went to Juventus. There's been actually links as well with Man United's Anthony Martial being linked with a move to Sevilla.
It's bollocks.
Yeah, as I was
Move on.
No, but let's just talk about it quickly. It does look like, actually looking at it now, if they did get in Martial, they would have so many Frenchmen up top. Like, you're looking at Sevilla had Gamero, he's gone. He's moved on to Atletico Madrid. They've also now brought in Ben Yedder. They've also brought in Samir Nasri. Do we want to talk about what he did at the weekend?
No.
We'll move on.
PG appropriate.
Yeah, we'll move on from that. It's full football here. We don't talk about anything else. Well, we actually do, but we don't talk about. We do talk about other stuff you guys recommended, but mainly football we talk about, and we keep it like that for the moment. If he moves to maybe you could see him play him on the right. He'd be a good player. Maybe Samir Nasri.
Mourinho's not going to sell Anthony Martial. Let's just face the facts.
He's not at the same time, but I think Martial himself must be getting a bit frustrated being played out of position, not getting really the best amount of football that he could get at Man United. And
I think he needs to step up and stop looking for I think he needs to step up.
Could you compare it to the way that Eden Hazard was kind of feeling, or Thibaut Courtois was feeling last season, that
No.
they just didn't feel that they were playing great and they wanted to move away rather than putting in the effort?
Courtois was just last season. No, I can't talk about Courtois last season. No, a completely different story. Man United are doing well. Chelsea weren't doing well last season, and Hazard and Courtois were just moaning B-words.
Yeah, so you're kind of saying like Anthony Martial needs to work a bit more to break into that squad, is what you're saying, into his preferred position. It's kind of looking difficult that he will get there, because I think Mourinho has kind of just adapted to he'll just play on the left. We won't bother playing him front, because they've got the likes of Ibrahimovic, Rashford as well. So I don't really see a place from up front, maybe on the wing, and that's kind of something was the downfall of a couple of Man United players in the past. We're looking at Welbeck. He played on the left a good bit for Man United. Obviously, you can argue about his injuries, but if he wasn't injured, he wouldn't have. I guarantee he wouldn't have reached the heights that he would have been expected if he had been playing on the left, and that's probably maybe the same for Martial. He's a very good player, and I hope maybe that he gets the proper position that he wants. But obviously, that Man United team is impossible to break them up, considering on such a winning streak here.
Yeah.
So, anyways, moving on from that, is there any other clubs you want to mention before we move on to our next bit?
I don't think so, no.
No, alright, so the last few results we talked about, and I want to talk about quickly something that isn't football related. It's about sort of our channels for this future of 2017. Any ideas? We obviously went out filming there 2 weeks ago on your series. Do you want to talk to them a bit about it?
Yeah, well, this year I'm hoping to do a series about where I just go to around the country, Ireland, and go to League of Ireland games, talk to the fans, talk to people who are involved in the club, and who really make it tick. Also hopefully going to get into contact with the clubs in a couple of weeks, and hopefully I'll get talking to them, and hopefully I can talk to people within the club as well, like the players, manager, because you never know in this league. I think it's just there will be. I'm kind of working on a video at the moment to bring out to kind of describe to you more what it is about. But essentially, it's just about getting to the heart of football and showing people in Ireland that football isn't just for Saturdays at 3 o'clock, or flying over at 6 a.m. in the morning on a Saturday to go watch a team in England. It's there's football here to watch on a Friday night, and it's cheap, and the money you're giving over is helping to provide funds for a club rather than giving it to corporate millionaires.
Yeah. Okay. So that gives us good insight. Is there anything else you're going to be doing? Mainly, maybe not on the full sort of football front. Anything? Are you planning on adopting out football, or are you just going to stick to football?
I don't know. You see, it's kind of I've had a few ideas, but I don't know. I'm kind of I'm still trying to work on the whole football thing. As in this, the League of Ireland thing is at the main it's at the main front at the moment. Yeah. But hopefully the other bits going around. I'm hoping to go up north a couple of more times to watch games, because that Coleraine versus Ards vlog that I did. If you haven't seen it, will you link?
Yeah, I'll leave a link.
Yeah, it's done amazingly well. Surprising. I think it's got 249 views or whatever. Even and it's got a bit of media attention down in Coleraine itself, because one of the strikers for Coleraine, Owen McGinnell, I think it is, contacted me afterwards and just kind of helped me out a bit and tell me what games I should go to for a better atmosphere. And I'm looking forward to this year. I'm hoping it'll be a big year for me. I'm 7 away from 400.
Yeah. So yeah,
exciting times.
Yeah. So this year, do you have any sort of goal for subscribers? Or you just want to keep doing what you're doing and see how it goes? Is there any sort of goal of how you want to do at the end, or is it just we'll see how this goes? If it does well, it does well, and if it's not, well, sure, it's just good crack anyways.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm gonna keep it up but my aim is I'm gonna keep it up till at least my leaving cert, which for you in England or wherever you're listening, in England it's A levels. I'm not sure what it is in America or anywhere else, but yeah, I'm hoping to keep it up till then. As in this, well, at the moment that's the aim, but obviously if we get more subscribers, more views, it'll go beyond that, and hopefully I'd love to make something out of it.
Yeah. Can we expect any more vlogs? Obviously you did the Berlin vlogs when you're on holidays. Can we expect any sort of vlogs similar to that, or?
Well, yeah, but I'm planning to do maybe a couple in the near future. Mm-hmm. That vlog that we did with Mark and Thomas Arnold.
Yeah.
That got a good few views, so I'm hoping to do something like that one day again. But yeah, when I'm just out and about, I'll probably do more vlogs, because that one did surprisingly well. I didn't expect it to do well, but it did. So I don't know. It's a whole different kind of experience. Doing vlogs and whatever, and then my FIFA things. I'm going to do a bit more on FIFA as well. So the New Year looks bright for Ginger Mourinho TV, hopefully.
Yeah. In terms of myself, like I haven't really thought too much about it. I had the idea for doing a Bournemouth career match, but I did do a poll on Twitter, so thanks to anyone who replied on that. That ended up beating Nice. It was between them two. So
7 votes.
yeah, 7 votes, which is I'll take whatever. Like it's all the viewer interaction is what I love about YouTube is that people watch your videos and they give you tips or whatever, because the only thing you can do is get better. You can't get worse on YouTube unless you just resort to clickbaiting, which is something that we don't do. So the way I look at it is I kind of want to do this Bournemouth career mode, maybe change it up a bit so it's kind of different to a lot of other career modes. In the same sense, I have no idea really what I want to do. I kind of want to branch off apart from football, maybe do. I have ideas for things I've been looking at before. I'm not sure. I might do stuff with Facecam, but I'm not really too confident at the moment with doing something like that. I have been looking at doing maybe game reviews or something. That all depends at the moment. Contrary to the name Full-Time Football, I will be looking at other stuff apart from football. But apart from that, that's all I really have solidly put in place for the future is the Bournemouth career mode. But if I do have any other ideas, I'll let you guys know in the next few podcasts, as will Oran if he wants to talk about anything else. So ending on that note, I wish you guys the happiest of New Year's. Hope everything goes well for you. And it is me, Oran Johnson, along with Ginger Mourinho TV, and we'll see you guys next time.